The laser fire of the clowns dissipated harmlessly against Vartal's magical shield, before he suddenly blinked forward and lashed out with his sword, severing the useless laser rifle in two, before the Nero followed through with a lunge that sliced the clown's stomach open. Disgusting, Svartal spat, as his familial link informed him that Caro had set fire to two more clowns in a room to the side. He silently slithered up to the end of the corridor, as both he and Caro heard panicked screaming and sounds of resistance in the chamber up ahead. Peeking carefully around the corner, Svartal could see several clown catchers trying to restrain several of the partygoers, though why they were trying to take them alive was unknown to the Nero, who used the distraction to easily blink to the tunnel opposite. Though as he kept moving forwards and listened to the screams and pleas for mercy, he suddenly stopped and glanced back out of the corner of his eye, remembering the words of the human. Help me stop them. We can help save a lot of people. He knew he shouldn't. Any time he wasted put Svarti at risk, but... Master? Caro queried, awaiting his command. Come on then! Jack roared, as the clown's laser fire had no effect on him, being no more than an insect bite to the incredibly angry human as he returned fire, putting two photon blasts through the chest and one in the head of the clown, not even waiting for them to hit the ground before unleashing a rapid burst on the next one, not bothering to snap into cover. There was no time. There were a lot of clowns down here, and he needed to get everyone still alive to safety. There were a few survivors carrying behind him, with a few ones with guns covering their rear. Anybody here, make yourself known, Jack called out to the now cleared chamber. Jack! He heard a familiar voice nearby, as Critch cautiously opened the cover to the vents he was hiding in. Thank the gods! I managed to get a few of us in here in time, but they were just looking for us. Is there not a way through? Jack asked, as the four people began crawling out. Jack had no idea how Critch had got them in, but he was impressed by the unimposing Lister. I was trying to cut through the metal security bars at the end enough for all of us to slip through, Critch shrugged. Could have worked. All right, Jack nodded. That's plan B. Dante and I can get you through if we don't have another way up. He indicated Dante with a quick point of the finger, so everyone knew who he was talking about. What's plan A? Critch asked. I kill every single clown between here and safety, and rescue everyone I can. Fuck, Critch replied with a heavy sigh, as he tried to calm himself. You're not joking, are you? No, Jack confirmed, as he moved forward and peeked around the corner, quickly dispatching the two clowns before they could even think to shoot. Can you fight? He asked Critch. I may need you to keep overwatch while I clear rooms. I know how to use a gun, though I work better from the shadows, Critch confirmed, as she shakily moved up to the human. Good enough, Jack confirmed, controlling his breathing and trying his best to put on a brave face as he put a hand on the Lister's shoulder. Stay behind me and Dante. Corridor ahead has a few side rooms, then there's a big chamber ahead, Critch confirmed in a quiet whisper. Even Jack could barely hear. Glad you remember this place better than I do, Jack whispered back, as he quickly and quietly moved to where the tunnel turned, taking half a second to listen before he and Dante rushed out, hearing the sounds of fighting nearby. The dog barked aggressively as he dashed forward to the group of clowns with their backs turned, zapping a bunch of them with a lethal bolt of chain lightning as several plasma rounds were blind fired from cover ahead, ricocheting down the corridors and keeping the others at bay. Jack ran in after the wayward dog, rapidly clearing the small side rooms of clowns with liberal use of photon gunfire, before checking to see who Dante had rushed to help. There you are! Sephi threw her arms around Jack, who returned the embrace. I knew you were nearby. I traced your last known comm signal. Jesus, Sephi, it's hell down here. You should have gotten to safety, Jack scolded. Not without you, the Scritter replied, with a serious tone he had never heard from her before, that left no room for argument. And not without them. She pointed back towards the room she was shooting from, revealing a small group of partygoers. Well, I'm glad you're all right, Jack sighed. What about the others? Alora and Nika are on the main floor, and Cheer's on the other side of the complex, Sephi confirmed, checking a nap. Hopefully things are safer there. Yeah, Jack agreed. Not too far, but we need to be quick. Let's go. Nika dodged a sword slash and parried another with her bowstaff, as the clown captain cackled, relishing the thrill of the fight as they backed away from one another, the crowd giving them space as they did so. She had no doubt this was one of the named, the clowns that were second only to the killer clown himself, and controlled the horde in his absence. "Fun! What fun!" the clown roared, rallying his troops to him. "Mr. Scissor gonna cut you to bits!" The captain cackled in murderous glee as he flourished his weapons in a dazzling flutter, clearly looking to intimidate Nika with the display, though the disciplined Kism would not back down. She was surprised that more clowns had not backed up their captain when he realized that Nika was a competent opponent, but she wasn't going to complain, quickly dashing forward with an overhead smash as the clown deftly dodged and launched forward, with Nika using her tail to leap to the side to avoid the attack. Holding her bowstaff in a strong grip, Nika deflected 2 rapid strikes before countering by swinging her staff in wide, unpredictable arcs, hoping to finish this quickly as the clown skipped backwards while she chased him. But before she could land a hit, something strange happened. From behind her, a pulse of golden light lashed out in a bubble which expanded harmlessly around Nika and the other guards and partygoers around her, giving them unusual feelings of courage and strength, and to also cause the clowns clear visible pain, as many clutched at their faces, giving many of the defenders a serious advantage. Nika wasted no time in lashing out at Mr. Scissor, catching his leg with a bone-shattering strike as he fought to get away, rushing to get to the safety of his fellow troops. "It's Orin!" Nika heard a familiar voice call out, as chains of light shackled the clown captain helplessly to the ground. Alora was limping over to her, with a few of their friends injured behind them. "See you in oblivion, asshole," Nika growled, as she executed the struggling clown captain with a point-blank shotgun blast to the face. "Alora, what's going on? Where are the others?" "I don't know," Alora panted in response to both questions, as she fell to one knee. "The clowns are everywhere, slaughtering whoever they can. I thought we could escape out the front. We nearly didn't, had it not been for whoever cast that ward." "That wasn't you, Alora?" Nika asked, confused, having automatically assumed that Alora was the one who had cast it. "No. It's beyond my power and it's still active. I think it's keeping the clowns at bay, at least for now." Alora breathed heavily, as Nika quickly moved to support her, looking around to see who had saved them. Glowing with a light golden aura like a celestial guardian, Sparta's eyes were shut tight in concentration as she supported herself with her mother's staff. From the point where the base of the staff met the ground, glowing symbols and runes were expanding out along the cobblestones, while several golden strands emerged from the crystal at the tip, feeding towards the fully expanded bubble of light. The Nira whispered words of power as she stayed there, which Alora assumed fed and enhanced the shield she had summoned. She had no idea Sparta could cast something so powerful. "We have to cover her," Alora shouted out, getting the attention of anyone she could. "Anyone that can fight, either help the guards on the walls or cover the gates." "Carry the wounded to the base of the wall if it's safe to move them," Nika added. "Anyone that can heal, keep them alive until help gets here." Krill and Zal hurried past them, carrying the limp, lifeless form of Rael, and laying them down next to the wall, as close to Svati as they could get. As they worked on keeping her stable, the runes of light snaked along the floor towards them, and the other wounded lay on the floor, channeling radiant energies as the cries of pain from the injured died down, to be replaced by calmed emotions and raised spirits. "How is that possible?" Krill asked, as the scribe began quickly casting whatever healing and support spells he could. "She's adding more layers to the spell, even while maintaining the primary repulsion field." "It's highly advanced magic, but it's got to be taking a huge strain on her," Alora replied, as she observed her friend fighting to maintain the spell. "We need casters to join her and help control the spell." "If you can cast any magical juju shit and can't heal or fight, get the fuck here!" Nika called out to the crowd, as she looked to the walls where more horde of guards were rushing to. "Hey, you two!" A newcomer urgently rushed up to them, a Hodov with clan Barsam insignias that sort of looked like they were a clan official, barely much older than their classmates. Nika recognized her as the Barsam noble that was on the stage next to the elder, who greeted them all, and also gave her food earlier. "Both of you sound competent, so I'm deputizing the both of you until backup or an elder arrives. We have the wall, but we need to hold the gate and evacuate anyone still inside until then." How the hell was this even allowed to happen? Nika asked angrily. Didn't you check this place before hosting an event here? We triple-checked, the Hodov yelled back. But over half our guards didn't show up tonight when they were meant to. And most of the ones that did are all greenhorns. I think there's something else going on behind the scenes. And if we survive tonight, you'll have my word, we will hold ourselves accountable. But right now, we need to hold out. She's right, Allura cut Nika off, before she could start an argument. I'll coordinate here for now. Chio says she's with Luvia and heading towards us, and doesn't know where the others are. You get to the gate. Follow me, the Hodov noble beckoned Nika, holding her assault rifle in a practiced grip, as she yelled out orders to nearby guards. Use the furniture to give us a makeshift palisade. No, I don't care how old and expensive it is. You have a name? Nika asked, as she took in the pitiful defences that were being assembled, as the remaining guards retreated. We'll need a channel for survivors to get to safety. It'll be done, the Hodov nodded, before bellowing orders to the guards. Leave an opening in the centre for friendlies to get through. We need elevation so we can see them and give them cover. Get some platforms up. Once her orders were being carried out, she sighed before looking to the Kizan, taking a quick swig out of her hip flask. I am Sigrin of Clan Barzum. Acting elder for now by the looks of it. Pretty sure my sisters mentioned you and the Eladri being in their class. You're their older sister? They might have mentioned you, Nika acknowledged, relaxing slightly as she remembered the stories the triplets had mentioned of their wild-card elder sibling. We have a huge family, so I don't blame you. And it doesn't matter anyway if we get overrun, Sigrin shrugged, before she turned towards a group of guards working at a nearby security post. Do we have access to our security system? No, ma'am. One of the guards quickly turned to address her. It looks like we've all been manually shut out from the central security station. Timestamps say it happened around the time the attack started. Fuck! Sigrin snarled. We have an infiltrator. What systems do you have access to, then? Nika asked. Could you send a message with public speakers? We can try, Sigrin confirmed. Jack and Sephi burst into the large secondary chamber, where the sounds of fighting had begun to die down. Bursting through, they spotted several dead clowns nearby, having been gunned down, and could see several Clan Barzum guards making a stand against the clowns pouring through the exposed tunnel at the end, though many of their number had already fallen. Jack's heart fell as he recognized many of them as the undead mercenaries he had met not even an hour ago. Hold on! Jack yelled to the guards as he rushed forward, laying suppressive fire on the clowns as the friendlies fell back to more favourable cover and switched batteries with nods of thanks to Jack. Critch, how far to the main floor? Just one more floor up, Critch confirmed, though there's a maze of tunnels connecting to this chamber that lead up to other parts of the complex. But that passage over there will take us right to the entrance. Where are the rest of the guards? Jack asked the Hodov, that looked the most senior out of the terrified squad. Floor above us. They're reporting trouble at the walls and they're trying to get non-combatants secured. It's chaos. We were meant to have way more people here. A loud roar suddenly bellowed out from above, drowning out the sounds of fighting before they quickly resumed. Jack! Sephi! The voice of Chio echoed faintly in their minds. What are you still doing down there? We're holding them back for the moment, but you need to get up here now. Allura and Nika are safe and are mounting a defense outside, but the clowns are getting numerous and they're starting to bring in their advanced troops. It sounded bad. They needed to act quickly. Sephi, I need you to lead the others up to the main floor if it's safe while I cover you. I want to get these guys out too. Jack looked at the Skritter pleadingly as he pointed to the guards, knowing she wouldn't like the idea. No fucking way! I'm not leaving you! Sephi refused, as everyone they had rescued so far looked on. Sephi, please. Jack put his arms on her shoulders to try and calm the Skritter down. Link up with the others above us, and get these people out of here if you can. I'll cover the retreat from here, and follow you if I can. You go with her, Dante. Woof! Dante barked, roughly nudging Sephi with his nose. There was no time to argue. You better be right behind us, Sephi chastised Jack, quickly pulling him into a hug and giving him a quick kiss on the cheek. Go, Jack yelled, as something big started charging towards them. He waved everyone to follow Sephi, as he and the remaining guards laid down some heavy covering fire. The escape passage was small, acting like a bottleneck that slowed the flow of bodies looking to escape. The creature leading the charge reminded him of a rhino, if said rhino was twice the size, and with more bone protrusions at key points along its body, and heavily maimed and altered by the clowns. It trumpeted loudly as it shrugged off the laser and plasma fire the horde of guards was sending its way as it sped towards them. They weren't going to get through in time. Without thinking, Jack ran forward and to the left, trying to lure the attention of the clowns away from the crowd. The ploy worked, and the giant clownified beast turned to charge at him. "Fall back, now!" Jack yelled to the remaining guards. "Get in that passage and collapse the tunnel behind you. I'll find another way out." Sorry, Sephi, Jack thought to himself, as he steeled himself for what he knew he had to do. "Overcharge!" His heavy shot hit home, just at the side of the beast's nose as he dodged, the gargantuan animal smacking into the wall behind him, but not before Jack had seen the look in the creature's eyes. It was the look of an animal that had suffered a lot of pain and agony, and it made him sick to think about the tortures the clowns could have inflicted on an innocent creature. Though perhaps many of the clowns were similar such victims. Jack quickly let loose a quick burst at the base of the creature's neck, hoping it would put the animal out of its misery as he backed away, the horde of guards prepping several grenades to collapse the tunnel, as Jack had ordered them to. In his maddened death throes it flailed around, smashing into walls and clowns alike, as Jack did his best to maintain his distance, while keeping the attention on himself. On hearing the cluster of small explosions to the side, Jack legged it, turning around and sparing a quick glance to confirm his half-assed plan worked before running as quickly as he could, aiming for the tunnel he had come from, having no other options, as the clowns howled in sadistic glee while chasing him. Jack cursed as he quickly rounded the corner and took aim, blasting the first clown to follow him before continuing, hoping he would be able to find a place to fortify or hide at. He had gotten everyone else out, but now he needed to make sure he stayed alive. Greta Barzum desperately flailed her legs at the clown that was atop of her as she saw others being dragged away. She didn't want to know what the clowns would do to them, but she would not let them violate her. "Help!" she screamed again, kicking the clown in the face as he tried to tear at her noble garb. What happened to the clan guards? Where were they? Were they all dead? Suddenly, the clown jerked back as a black crossbow bolt slammed into his forehead, dark, thorny barbs ripping and tearing through lobotomized skull and brain matter alike, violently punching through and embedding itself in the rock behind. As its compatriot looked around, it took another bolt straight into the torso, caving in its ribcage and pinning it firmly to the wall a split second before a third took one in the shoulder, spinning several times with the sheer force of the impact. Greta then saw several orbs of blue light zipping around the room, homing in on several of the clowns trying to drag some of the others away, knocking them back and stunning them, before a strange bird of reddish black moved in close to attack and finish off the ones on the left, while a serpentine form leaped through the air, spinning in a corkscrew as it summoned a sword to slash at a clown on the right, before landing and swiping horizontally in the air, shooting out an arc of energy that roared over the struggling partygoers on the ground to slice into the last clown. Wasting no time, the figure pointed a wand at the ceiling of one of the tunnels and growled a word of power, collapsing the support beams and sending rocks and rubble crashing to the ground in a tumble of debris, burying the clowns trying to reinforce their comrades. Except for one. Dashing through with seeming ease, a thin avian clown with flowing electric blue hair dodged the debris and skidded to a halt several meters away from the nearer that had taken down several of her best troops like they were nothing. "Ooh, you're interesting," the clown captain cackled cruelly, as she flourished her twin rapiers with a practiced two-handed display. "I was worried that murdering everyone here would be far too boring." "You're more well-spoken than your brother was," Spartawolf snarled, as he noted the confident motions of the twin blades. He would need to call on his magic to give him the edge in this fight, though he won't be saying anything anymore. Or involve Caro. They could communicate non-verbally, after all, but he didn't want anyone knowing that, and Spartawolf had no qualms whatsoever about fighting dirty. However, remain hidden, watch for treachery and get ready to engage if needed, Spartawolf mentally instructed his familiar, who silently understood and acknowledged. "She is my kill alone." "I like you," the captain grinned, licking her powdered beak in lust before she lunged forwards with a twin slash. "You're not like the others. You're special. I'm gonna make you my new brother just for me." Spartaw dodged one blade and parried the other with his own sword, attempting to press forward and lock blades. The clown captain was quick, and though he could just about keep up with her speed, he had more of an advantage in physical strength and magic. The crazy woman dove to the side in a roll, denying the blade lock, and carefully avoiding a powerful swipe to the legs as she disengaged. Spartaw quickly used his own enhanced speed to stay on her though, not letting the clown fully get back to her feet, as she desperately tried to parry or avoid his powerful blows, before she unexpectedly jumped high in the air, spinning twice in a dervish of blades, before landing on the ground. "Little Miss Slash gonna flash and dash," the clown grinned, as her form began to shake and quiver. Quick as a bullet, she leaped forward, spinning and twirling her swords quicker than Spartaw could follow. He quickly blinked out of the way to avoid the landing, before letting loose a slice of arcane energy from his sword that Little Miss Slash avoided as it sailed past and crashed into a wall. Damn, Spartaw thought, remembering that there was the potential for collateral damage, as someone on the floor nearly squeaked and moved away, as the clown captain jumped at him again with a furious charge. This time, the captain was just barely able to get past Spartaw's defense, shallowly cutting him in several places along the arms, even through his magical protections, though the clown caught an injury much more fierce, as the Nero had predicted the move, and blasted Little Miss Slash full force with his acid spray, catching her full in the chest. And as she tried to wipe the acid off of her, with her already mutilated hands, he could see the right side of her face had been caught as well. If there was any collateral damage on any of the hostages from that, it was their own damn fault for being in the way. Spartaw quickly muttered a cantrip that quickly and easily closed his wounds, as he thought about how he would finish this. Time was something he didn't have in abundance. The memory of his fight with the human edged on Spartaw's mind. What trick would Frost try if it was him? "By Jingubash, you will suffer for that," Little Miss Slash cackled. "I will slice you apart, then I'll put you back and make you my pretty." She rushed forward, and Spartaw met her charge with one of his own, acting on instinct to parry an overhead slash, before spinning his sword to parry another and riposte with a flurry of his own, forcing the clown back before she repositioned and spun, blocking Spartaw's downward strike with one blade, as she slashed across with another, thinking she was going to hit, but instead met an unexpected resistance as the rapier twanged against something metal that had suddenly pressed against her. Little Miss Slash barely had time to contemplate the barrel of Spartaw's sniper rifle, aimed point blank at her chest, before Spartaw fired, ripping the clown apart at the molecular level, as the overcharged concussive sonic round punched through the clown and smacked into and through the hard stone of the cavern wall. Spartaw shook his arm to dissipate the pain of having fired the powerful gun one-handed, unsummoning it as quickly as he had brought it to bear in a flash of inspiration. He was glad he didn't break anything. Though he had the rifle custom-ordered, and his magical enhancements were still going strong, the recoil still stunned like a bitch. Greta Barzum had pushed herself as close to the nearest wall as she could, ever since she got loose, and made herself as small as possible. The Hodev cowered on the floor in shock throughout the fight, and hadn't even noticed the end of it before Spartaw slowly slinked up to her, looking down at his terrified classmate. "Lady Barzum," the Nero addressed Greta, but the Hodev was still in shock and didn't react. "I don't have time for this shit," Spartaw thought to himself. Groaning internally at his foolish decision, he tried a different tactic, as he slunk down to her level while putting on the closest thing to a friendly face he was capable of, ordering Caro to secure the area. Greta, you can't stay here. You and the others have to come with me." Something inside of Greta compelled her to nod in understanding, and she barely noticed as Spartaw pulled her to her feet, before promptly abandoning her and seeing to anyone else that looked alive. By the time he got to the third party-goer, Spartaw had dispensed with the pleasantries as a waste of his valuable time, and instead used his magically enhanced strength to drag people up to a standing position, and even slapped one to get their attention and stop their mewling. Fortunately, not all of the people around him were gibbering wrecks, and once they realized that they had been saved, They quickly helped the Nira in rallying everybody with more kinder words and hugs than Spartal cared for. I would have thought we would have received more challenges appropriate for our combined power than this, though I have no doubt that can be found on the front lines of this conflict, Caro mused. You will get a taste of worthy combat soon, whether we seek it or not. Spartal dismissed his familiar, as he checked over the drow-forged crossbow he had claimed as his own from House Malkar's armory, before unsummoning it back through his dimensional rift. Getting to Sparty and escaping this shitshow is my only concern as of now. He decisively slithered to the only entrance he left unblocked, which he knew likely led to the main floor. The sounds of roaring and fighting were quieter now, as if it had retreated further away from his position. It would be a fight to get to safety. Spartal turned around to address the survivors, as he formulated a plan in his mind. Stay close to me if you want to live, but don't get in my fucking way.